Welcome back. Turning now to your weekend forecast. Live picture this morning from Appalachian Ski Mountains. And it's still a pretty foggy view, but definitely not as much fog as we saw a little bit earlier this morning, Brittany.
Yeah, a lot of that caused by, of course, that snow that they're making themselves up there, as it is definitely cold enough to do so. The clear conditions overnight have really allowed for our temperatures to settle closer to the ground and be a lot colder than we were 24 hours ago. In fact, you can see these clear conditions from our live camera here from our Dallas, North Carolina tower cam. Beautiful start to the day as the sun continues to try to peek there over the horizon. Dallas is a camera that I am watching very closely this morning, not just for great sunrises, but of course, we got to talk about it, right? The Chinese spy balloon. So yesterday, if you were watching the newscast, Brad talking a little bit about how earlier yesterday, the balloon spotted in places like Kansas City, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, and how there was a chance it was going to be over the Carolinas later on today. High winds, high up in the atmosphere. Oftentimes when we're talking about the jet stream, we're talking about the jet stream driving storm tracks, but very high winds in the upper levels of our atmosphere can cause issues. Even with just basic travel, planes can, decide to go a different way, things like that. When they're trying to get you to your destination, oftentimes can also cause turbulence. But in this case, it's allowing that jet stream pull to pretty much push the balloon likely over parts of the Carolinas later on today. Current trajectory looks like maybe later morning toward noontime, so keep an eye on the sky for that as those winds will continue to pretty much push there in the upper levels of our atmosphere. I would say southeast or so for the majority of the day. But that's not necessarily the case by the second half of the afternoon, as we're going to actually be tracking a lot of warm air with winds coming in from the south. So that wind pushing the system off our coastline, but our wind today is really going to be driving some warmer temperatures here as we approach the next few days. So a bit of a pattern flip as we enter the beginning part of next week. But at least for today, clear conditions, clear skies, high pressure overhead settling closer to the ground. It's going to keep things a lot colder. In fact, look at scouting for food this morning. Upper 20s, so make sure you are bundled up and prepared, whether you are putting that food out on your porch at 9 a.m. or maybe the scouts, of course, stopping by. Hopefully heavy coats are necessary and needed for the majority of the day. Sunshine, though, abundant as highs will eventually reach the lower to middle 40s. So today we're nice and clear, but tomorrow we are going to be tracking increasing clouds across the region. This will be allowing for a few areas of rain to develop over on the eastern half of the Carolinas. This is as a coastal low pressure system tries to develop there. I don't necessarily think it's going to have a good chance of clipping areas closer to Charlotte, but there's a pretty good chance that eastern portions of Richmond County as well as down toward Chesterfield County could at least get clipped by a few showers tomorrow. But for the most part across the Piedmont the next 5 days, we are dry, we are quiet. In fact, our rain chances don't bump back up until about Thursday and Friday of next week. Very low overall 7-day rainfall forecast, which will give us a nice opportunity to dry out from all the rain we've had as of late. But the rain, the wet, the warm conditions not going away anytime soon. Look at February 9th through the 13th. Long range forecast puts us at an extremely high chance of those above average temperatures. Where we should be this time of year, a low of 33 and a high of 54. Today is the only day we're below those numbers in the Guy Roofing 7-day forecast, as we are tracking temperatures close to 70 degrees by Wednesday and Thursday.